Okay, so today as we move into lesson 10.3, first of all, with these 4 vocab words I want you to read through and reacquaint yourself with, they're called measures of central tendency. So today we're going to be able to find those and describe them. We're going to be able to take a data set and say, here's what I can tell you about it, okay? So what is one of those measures of central tendency? With a hand, Shamarki? Mean. Okay, what is the mean? Can you give me, in your own words, the definition of the mean?
Like, add up all the numbers, and then how many numbers there are, that's what you divide by.
Okay, add up all the numbers, add up all the data values, get that sum, and then take that and divide by how many numbers there were. That's the mean of the data set. That is a measure of central tendency. Okay, what's another measure of central tendency? Now, Shamarki, we gotta make these guys, work for their lunch today. Go ahead, Riley, what's another one?
Median.
Median. Okay, in your own words, what's the median of a data set? The what?
Middle.
The middle. Okay, is there any other qualifications? Do I just then take a data set as they give it to me and I find the middle of it? Or do you think there's something else that we have to make sure of first? Like, when we're adding up all those numbers to get the mean, do we have to worry about what order we add them in, Shamarki? No, okay. Do we have to worry about the order of the set for the median, Riley? That's kind of what I'm asking. Does order matter when we're trying to find the middle?
No. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, it does. We need them either ordered from smallest to largest, or largest to smallest. They got to be in order so we know which data piece is the actual middle of them. Okay. Do we always land right on the middle when you're looking for the median?
No.
No. Sometimes you land kind of between 2 middle ones. And what do you got to do then? Does anybody know?
Do decimal.
What do you do with them? Go ahead, Malcolm.
Subtract them.
You don't subtract them. JC?
You add them and divide by 2.
Yeah, you add them together and you divide by 2. You find the middle of them. So you got these 2 that you land on in the middle, and you say, okay, well, I got to find the middle of you 2. So you add them together and you divide by 2, and you'll have your median of the data set. Okay, what's another measure of central tendency? Isaac?
Mode,
The mode. In your own words, what's a mode?
like the number that appears most often.
Yeah, the one that shows up the most. Okay? So is there only one mode? Can there be more than one mode? Yeah. In other words, what if, I have you guys give me all your ages and I make that data set up on the board, and, we find out that there's one age that there's equal number of the other, so one of them can't claim to be the most. We would say both of them are most. Okay? Kim?
Could we actually do that? Like find the median of the name or ages?
Sure, maybe we could sometime, but I don't think we're going to be able to today because I got some guys who got to be released at 12:05 today. Okay? Shamarki?
Like, say, for the median was like 1, 3, 2, 4. Like, are you supposed to put it in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You gotta order
rearrange
them. You got to rearrange them so they're in numerical order for when you're trying to find the median.
And you can go from highest to lowest or lowest to highest.
That's right. You can go either direction as long as they're numerically ordered, just like I make you do with your assignments for being quiz eligible. Okay? Does there have to be a mode? What do you think?
No, it doesn't have to.
No. What if? What if every number is different?
There's no mode.
Then there's no mode. You can't say one occurs more often than another one does because they all occur one time. So there would be no mode. Okay, so we've got the mean, we've got the median, we've got the mode. We'll all start with M's. Those are the 3 M's. Stefan?
The range.
And then there's the range. And what's the range in your words, Stefan?
Well, if you look at the data set, you find the largest number and the smallest number, and you subtract those two to find the difference between them.
Yeah, kind of like we were doing when we were trying to find interval sizes for a histogram. We're picking out what's the largest data value, what's the smallest data value, how much distance is there between them. But we're not going to add 1 when we're finding the range, okay? So if the largest data value is 80 and the smallest data value is 50, what would the range of that data set be? 30. 80 take away 50 would have a range of 30, okay? So we're going to do check it out problem on this page that we're on. So go down to just below example 1 box, and it's about 3/4 of the way down the page. It says check it out. Number 1, the weights in pounds of 5 cats are, 12, 14, 12, 16, and 16. You know what? Let's write those down in our notes here. The weights. 12. What was it again? 14.
12, 16,
Okay. So we have a pretty small data set. It's only got 5 values in it. Okay.
Can we,
I'm saying let's get those put in order. Why are we going to put them in order? Which one needs order? The median needs order. Yeah, the median needs order. But it will also be kind of helpful when we're trying to find the range, and it will also be maybe pretty helpful when we're trying to find the mode. So we're going to put them in order. So go ahead and do that on your papers because I know you know how. You're going to need your calculators. What you want to add and divide and get out. Okay, when you are finding these, you're going to show me what you did to get them. Okay, one of the ways to show work is just what we just did here. Put them in order. This is the work step. And then the next one, now we're going to actually take these and find these central measures of tendency. And we're going, measures of central tendency, I said that wrong. And you're going to show me what you actually did. So you're going to put, you don't have to show me that you're going to add 12 plus 12 plus 14 plus 16 plus 16. You can just do that in your calculator, but before you divide, you're going to show what sum did you get. So go ahead, add up those 5 data values. So to get the mean, we need a sum of the data values. And what is that sum?
30.
I think it's got to be more than 30. I think I'm going to trust the 70. Do we have enough people in agreement that it's 70?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to show that we got 70, and what are we going to divide by? 5, because there's 5 data values, so 70 is going to be nicely divisible by 5, so I can use an equal sign. I'm not going to have to round. What is it?
14.
14? Okay. So that's how we show our work. So the average weight of a cat from this data set is 14 pounds. Okay, well, how about the median? How do we find the median? What is that again? The middle. So we're going to kind of like count from the ends inward until we get, so we go 1 in on each end, go in again, and guess where we land on? 14. So our median is 14. Okay. And by the way, we can put the label behind these also because we know what these numbers are representing. We have an average of the cat's weighing 14 pounds. We're saying the middle weight, the median weight of the cats is 14 pounds. How about mode? Is there a mode?
Yeah.
What is it?
16.
Count.
12 and 16.
12 and 16 because they both occur
Twice.
Okay, so we have a 12 pound and a 16 pound mode. And notice it's pretty easy to see in the list when they're in order because here's 2 12s, here's 2 16s, and there aren't any others that occur more often than that, do they? Okay? And how about the range? What are we going to do to get the range for this one?
16 minus 12.
16 take away 12. Okay, so we'll show that. That's our work for this one. 16 take away 12 is 4 pounds. So basically we're saying from the smallest weight to the largest weight, there's a distance of 4 pounds. Okay? So anybody unclear about what kind of work you need to show me? This is minimal. This is it right here. This is minimal work. Okay? Well, you know what? We need to understand that sometimes there's something called an outlier. Can anybody tell me what an outlier is? What does that mean? If I said to you, does this data set of cat weights have an outlier? What would I be really asking you?
It's like different from the other values.
Yeah, it's like way different than the other ones. Like, what if we had a cat here that weighed 24 pounds? Would that be kind of quite a ways bit different than the other 5 weights that we had? Yeah, 24 pound cat would be considered an outlier, a cat that needs to go on a diet maybe. Okay, so that would be an outlier. So when we talk about outliers, now we're gonna go over to page 703, and we're going to do, I don't know what I'm trying to do here, I gotta reacquaint myself here with what's going on. We're doing check it out problem number 2, okay? So let's put that right here, this is number 2. I apparently forgot to put that. Go ahead, Brayden.
So for an outlier, can't it also be a lower number too? Like
Sure, it could be a,
having it lower than any of the other numbers?
yeah, what if it was an 8-pound cat? What do you think? Do you think an 8-pound cat would have been an outlier? Kind of not real typical of the other one, so that one's maybe questionable if it would be an outlier or not. How about a 5-pound cat? Yeah, for sure, that one would, that's poor thing, probably need to be fed several times a day. Okay, so we are at check it out problem number 2 where it says identify the outlier in the data set 21, 24, 3. Okay, let's write our data set. Let's fill in that. So we're at about a third of the way down the page on page 703. Okay, how do you feel about this one? Are there any outliers?
Yeah.
3 appears to be an outlier, doesn't it? It's quite a bit different than all the rest of them. We're in the 20s, and then we have that 130. So this is quite a ways away from the rest of them. So we're going to say that we think that 3 would be considered an outlier. Okay, so we're not going to throw the outlier out right now. We're not going to say, get out of here, you're not like the rest of us. We're going to leave it in there for a bit, and we're going to put this data set in order from least to greatest. So go ahead and do that. Order that data set. Don't leave any pieces out. Okay, now I want you to do the first column. In other words, we're going to figure out all of those measures of central tendency, leaving the 3 in there, saying, you know what, 3, you can be a member of us. Okay, and I want you to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. We just practiced that up above. Remember the work you got to show. We did that up above too. Okay, we can't label these answers because we don't know what this data set is representing, so you don't have to put labels this time. Now, I want you guys to look up and see what I did to the median and tell me, did I really need to do what I did? 24 plus 24 equals 48 divided by 2.
No.
No, because what do I really have to find? The middle between 24 and 24. Well, what's that going to be? 24. If both of the middle pieces that you land on are the same number, that's really ends up being your median because there's nothing in between 24 and 24. They're on top of each other. So the median actually is 24. Okay, agree, disagree with me after you're done? Okay, anybody need to disagree with any part of it? Is it?
Not disagreeing, I'm
the largest, take away the smallest. 30, take away 3. So once we put them in order, we can go and say which one's the biggest and subtract the one that is the smallest, and that'll tell us how much distance there is between those two. That's really what ranges represent, distance between them. Okay, that answered Isaac? Anybody else? Or anybody need to challenge me on any of these? Okay, well, we need to see how an outlier affects a data set. In other words, what does it do to it? Okay, so in other words, it's kind of like this. If you guys score, all quarter long, you've been, all semester, let's say, all semester long you've been scoring in the 80% and the 90% in your quizzes and your tests. And then all of a sudden, one day, you had this quiz that you scored a 53% on. Would you consider that an outlier?
No, yeah.
Yeah. Would you want to throw that score out?
Yeah.
So you could say to your parents, my average in biology is, and if you threw the outlier out, would it change the average, do you think? I think it probably would. So let's do the data set saying we're going to throw out the outlier. So in other words, we're going to take out, why don't you put right here, take out 3. In other words, we don't want 3 in there while we're doing our mean, our median, our mode, and our range. So now we're going to ignore 3, and we're going to have a, how many member data set? 5 member data set. So go ahead and calculate them without that 3 in there. Find out what they're all going to be. So what was the outlier affecting? Anything? Yeah, it appears to be, wasn't it? Which one was it affecting? The mean. So with the outlier in it, the mean was higher or lower? Lower. It lowered it, didn't it? Isn't that what you would expect would happen with a lower test score? Would lower your average? Yeah. And then it also lowered the what? Or it changed the range, yeah. So in other words, the range is now much shorter. It was making the range a lot wider. In other words, you couldn't say, oh, my highest test score is a 97, and my lowest is a 53. But when you get to, that's a pretty big range. But when you toss that 53 out, now you can say, oh, my highest test score was a 97, and my lowest was an 83. Then you get to say, oh, look at there, I really only am varying by this many points between my tests. So the question they're asking us to do here is it says, determine how it affects it. So what do you think we can say? The outlier did not affect what? The median and mode did not affect the median and mode. But it did. Let's get that much caught up before we start talking about what did it and how did it affect it. So the outlier did not affect the median and mode, but it did decrease. No, it's going to be actually, so here's where we were using it. It decreased the mean, didn't it? But it decreased the mean. And let's be specific, by how much? How much did it? By 3.7, so 21.5 and 25.2. If you do a subtraction problem, the mean was actually 3.7 lower, so it decreased it by 3.7. But it did decrease, no, you can't use past tense there, LeBron. Okay, but it did decrease the mean by 3.7. Go ahead, Isaac.
Didn't it?
No, with the outlier in it. Here's the outlier. The outlier was in it. It decreased the mean, it made the mean lower by 3.7. The outlier. So having it in there makes the mean 3.7 lower. And, need a pen again. And it increased the how much? By 18. So we're gonna make nice intelligent mistakes like we're gonna have to do on those tests as juniors. What does the outlier do? Well, guess what? In this case, it did not affect the median and the mode, but it did decrease the mean by 3.7, and it increased the range by 18. So whatever this is representing, that's what we could say it's doing to it. Okay? Okay. Anybody have any other lingering questions on this?
So during the homework, do we have to write what the outlier did in the homework?
Okay, now, I do have 3 guys who are to leave to go for a picture, but you're not leaving until you have the worksheet and a completed copy of the notes, if you could grab, so that you fill in the backside of the notes on your own, okay? And this worksheet that you're going to do, you must show work on loose leaf for it, not on here, on loose leaf. Okay? Sure, Mark, you want to get it. And the rest of us will move on to the back side of the notes. Anybody have any other questions about this front side though? Or Shamarki? Who's the first one? Shamarki and Malcolm and Riley. Oh. Am I right, Riley?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go to the back side. Now we're going to do number 3, which is at the bottom of the page. Here's some test scores. Josh scored 75, 75, 81, 84, and 85 on 5 tests. Hey, guess what? What did they already do for us? They already ordered them, didn't they? So let's go ahead and write those down. 75, 75, 81. And guys, I expect that you will, I'll be checking those notes tomorrow. Make sure you fill in that backside. Okay? And 85.
But she wants you to fill them in, you know what I mean?
Okay, we're going to find these pieces of information about it. Go ahead and find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. They're already in order for you, so you don't have to do that part. Okay, now we're going to answer some questions, A and B. The middle down, when they're in order. Okay? Any questions about any of these? Do you still can't get the same thing or not knowing what to do? Okay. So what's the first question that they ask? They say, which of these measures describes the score Josh received most often? Which one is it? But what's that called? The mode, yeah, remember that's the definition for it. Okay, so let's write that. The mode describes the score Josh got most often And that is 75. Which just also happens to be his what? Least score, isn't it? That's his lowest score. Okay. Well, then in B it says, which measure should Josh use to convince his parents that he's doing well in school? Should we use this one? Should we use the mode? Should you say, well, this is the score I got the most often? No, which one would you guys use if it was you trying to convince a parent that you're doing really well in school? Would you use the mean, the median, the mode, or the range here?
Median.
Really? The median. How come? The highest one, isn't it? So you don't have to tell them, even maybe they don't know it's the middle of your data set. If they ask you, like, how are you doing in school? You can say, well, my median test score was 81.
I would say actually the mean because that's your average.
It is your average, but don't you want to, like, convince them that you're doing even better than 80?
Well, like 1%.
What? It's only one, that's right, but I would say Josh should use the median because it is the highest. Now, if their parents ask, well, they're smarter than you think, and they say, but, well, that's the middle of the data set. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know what the average is. Then you would have to tell them.
Can I have your attention? Those students needing to take the intramural picture should be dismissed from class now to go take that picture. Thank you.
Josh should use the median because it is the greatest value. Now, he's just being smart. He's saying, you know what, they asked me how I'm doing. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say, my median test score is 81. Wouldn't be lying. Now, if they said, what's your average test score? Then you'd have to come clean and say it's what? 80, yeah. And then if they asked you, well, what's the difference between your highest and your lowest test score, what would you have to say? It's a range of, the range was 10. You'd have to say, oh, there's a difference of 10 points between, my best and my worst. That's not too bad, though, is it? 10? Okay, so this is the kinds of things that you're going to be working with in this lesson and in this homework. You do need to get out a sheet of loose leaf paper, show your work on for this worksheet, as you heard me say to the guys.